Good morning, comrades, and welcome to the Nürburgring, and to be more precise, to Oldtimer Grand Prix, and to be even more precise, to the stand of Isdera. And today I'm gonna show you a couple of interesting things. Starting with, well, let's talk about Isdera, about the routes, and eventually we're gonna go towards the Commendatore GT, their latest incarnation. So, what is Isdera? I would like to describe it as the 1980s Pagani, because what is Pagani at the end of the day? It is a manufacturer in terms of like manufacture, like the very low volume manufacturer that using like a big production series techniques. In this case, I'm talking about the chassis is developed in-house, and then the drivetrain is like Pagani from AMG. Back in the days from Mercedes, from the S-Class 5-liter V8, later 5.6, and eventual some models even received a 6-liter, producing horsepowers of up to 420-ish, and the beginning models of around 300. So this is a Imperator 108 I. So the 100, all the Isdera start with the number 1, and 08 stands for the amount of cylinders. Now let's move on a bit further over there. This is a 116, and as you may probably guess by the name, it has indeed 16 cylinders. It is actually a double V8, so it has 2 engines in the front, one for the front axle, one for the rear axle, so it's all-wheel drive, and it was produced in 2006, and it's called Autobahn Courier, which is based again on like a very like 1930s Mercedes, which was produced back then when Autobahn started to become in existence. It was like displaying that this is the car that you need to drive on the Autobahn. So very impressive, very big. I even need to like engage my wide angle for this, and very special and unique. Only one in the world. You can see a lot of people are taking pictures of it, and actually this one over here, younger generation probably know it from Need for Speed 2, 1993 Commendatore 112i. And again, just like all the other cars from Isdera, the 12 stands for the amount of cylinders, which again comes closest to the nowadays incarnation of Pagani, because we all know Pagani uses the V12 from AMG in the back. And this current car from 93 develops around 400-ish horsepowers. Later in 1999 it did like a redevelopment, I would say, of a car which had the latest V12 that was producing around 600 horsepower. Back in the day it was the only car that was featuring the air brake, also like self-lowering chassis when you would be driving high speeds. So all in all, very, very impressive. My casual audience from my channel definitely know the wheels, BBS E88, and just by itself for 1993 this car looks very badass, very modern, very special. And like recurring feature from all these Isderas is the mirror on the top. I've been driving yesterday the Imperator 108 for a TV show that we're filming currently, and I must say this is probably the best mirror I have seen on any car, because you see actually basically happening everything behind you, because it's actually outside, so you have the full view of what's happening behind you. Because if it's like on the inside, you're being limited by the rear windows, sometimes by a spoiler, and this is actually the best feature. How aerodynamic is it? I don't know, I haven't tested it, but this car can go pretty fast. And also like the 80s Imperator 108, the owner friend of mine, he said that he already did 301 kilometer on GPS with it. So I'm pretty sure that this car can go somewhere close to 400 if with this body shape, and if you would put the 99 engine in it. Now, why we're here today is actually the latest model again, the Isdera Commendatore GT. As you can see, it is fully electric, because after all we are in 2019. Here is another one under a cover, and I asked, what is the plan with it? Well, actually there is no plan. This is basically just a show car to show what the company can do nowadays. And what can it do nowadays? Well, if you want to have a low production car, you can approach them. If you want to have a one-off car, you can approach them. Probably what you need to know for yourself is that this car has 2 electrical engines, 300 kilowatt in the front, 300 kilowatt in the back, 600 in total, which equates roughly 800-ish horsepower. But today it is running a bit less because it is prototype. So we're waiting for the car to charge up. then I'm gonna jump into it, drive it towards the Nordschleife entrance, and then a friend of mine will take me for a lap. I'm very excited to be like a part of the Isdera history, I must say. That's a very light door.
So first we have to unrelease the handbrake, so 3 seconds on the, and yeah, okay. Yeah. Now you can switch to drive. Exactly. I just turn off the a little bit, not too cold. Okay. What? What? Upwards. Okay, that's it.
Good. Easy as that. Okay, then we just roll. Exactly. Just like any other EV. Interesting sound it generates.
Yeah, it's the noise insulation, stuff like that needs to be so now you're in normal mode, so we've 4-wheel power regeneration, which means we can also control it with the computer, how much recuperation we want to have. Depends on the status of the battery. Yep. So if the battery is too warm or whatever, or on driving conditions, then the car decides itself how much recuperation is still okay. If you switch to sport mode, then we
it's by this,
exactly,
right?
Then it's the recuperation is just gone. Because we sometimes the drivers don't like it on the racetrack.
Yeah.
Because it
slows them down or something.
Especially the pros, they I just turned it on.
Yeah.
Especially the pros, they like it because they can figure out how the car behaves when entering the corner and stuff like that. Yep. Sometimes for normal drivers it's a little bit hard because you're braking to the speed you want to have, and then it still becomes slower. Normally you are too slow at the apex when you.
And I guess it's all drive-by-wire, right?
Yes.
The steering column as well?
Besides brake? No. It's brake and steering is still
okay, so it's mechanical.
Mechanical.
Because I do feel that it's like it offers lots of resistance, so it feels actually pretty good.
So the steering wheel has got an electric power steering, so we can also tune it to the behavior of the car. So it's, as it is a GT, we don't want to have it too too hard at the steering wheel. So it's all about finding the right compromise when you're developing such a car. It's more about to figure out what perfectly fits the goal of the car.
Cool.
So, for example, now if you can stay on the pedal, and if I switch on you feel the
difference in power event. Yeah.
We've got a different acceleration pedal configuration, which gives it's a little bit more direct, which behaves pretty good on the racetrack.
Yeah, interesting. Can we do a short acceleration test here, maybe?
Yeah.
Because here we have like a more or less nice straightaway.
So this is in the second gear because.
Impressive. I'm pretty sure it can go a lot faster, but we're already above speed limit, so it's good. I like the GT feeling of it. It's very nice. So what can you tell more about the infotainment system?
So the HMI system was also completely designed by Isdera. So they were trying to figure out a new way of making an easy to control, clean design for HMI system. So we've got 2 display units. The one is the head unit in front of the driver, which shows you the most important data about speed, current state of charge and stuff like that. Yeah. And we've got a multimedia display, which is already working in the prototype, as you can see. You can slide, you can turn on media. We've got a dash showing tire pressures and overall status of the car.
That's nice. I really like that it's very high resolution, both screens.
Yeah,
it feels... Oh, it looks high quality.
Exactly. And we've got Navi and phone, and the goal was to have it more or less on how to say, not too huge structure. Yeah, where it can get lost. So the idea behind it was to have the most important things just on one screen. You can swipe around, you can switch into the different systems, and easily access what you need. Of course, it gets more and more stuck if you put in more information and more things to control. But the idea was to get it as, let's say, as clean and as good structured as possible. So in sport mode, we are switching to the first gear, which might be a little bit tricky on wet roads, so be a little bit careful, because
we have all-wheel drive, it's all good.
But then it's limited to 100 kilometers an hour, because the gearbox it will shift from first to second gear, but not in this development state where we are right now. So if you just if you stop once and more, and then we can switch to the second gear, then it's a little bit easier on normal roads. It's like backdoor information for us developers.
So in the steering wheel, it has like 0 controls on it. Is this intended, or you plan to implement something like that?
As you know, this is a prototype, pre-series. It's a pre-series prototype, which is going to be further developed in the next couple of months and years. So goal is to improve the car during, like always in Isdera's history, to improve the cars in terms of technique and stuff like that. So it's this car was developed in only 9 months.
Okay,
from scratch. So
from a sketch to working.
Exactly. So we started in June 2017, and the car was officially unveiled at the car show in China in April 2018. And so we had a 9 months development and build time. So to reach this, the most important, or one of the important keys is to reduce the amount of complexity to a level you can deal with. And this was what we so we said, okay, a steering wheel with a lot of controls is something which is already existing, and you can just do it, but not in this kind of timeline. So I will do it after we just switched it. So this is the key as well.
Oh, the iPhone or what?
Yes. Release the brakes.
Yeah.
So now we can. Now it's off. And so we've got a special app also for it, where it shows the status of the car. You can. Okay, now we turn it off, but see the state of charge. You can see how what the doors are and stuff like that. So you can see.
Interesting.
Okay, we are not charging, so
yeah. That's cool.
Okay,
with a button, then you have a massive door, which is actually
a little bit crazy, but
it works. I mean, it's a 4-seater after all that you wouldn't expect. It's nice.
Hey Misha, the food shot, come on.
Food shot?
Food shot.
What do you got? Oh, nice. That's cool.
Homemade.